We all know that we consume too much. I know it. You know it. We all know that there's the TED Talk out there. There's tons of TED Talks about how scrolling is terrible and we're going to spend more time on our phones and on screens as a generation than we will actually living life. And you may or may not have heard the terrifying thought that when you die, you'll probably have more memories of other people, other people's memories, than you will of your own life. And so I decided, what if I tried something just to see what it was like reversing that, radically reversing it? And so the challenge was, what if I went completely without consuming content for an entire month? So here's what I did. This is what I mean by that, because that can mean a lot of things and it can be almost impossible to cut it out completely. So number one, got off social media completely. I'm already not on it a lot, so that was relatively easy. But went ahead, logged out of everything, deleted the app off my phone, so no social media. Then I made a pact not to get on YouTube whatsoever. YouTube is probably the main form of content I consume and watch and get inspired by. So decided no time on YouTube except for a work-related use. So I could only do it on my computer at work, and then I had to be very careful not to just keep watching a few more tutorials or sound design clips or how to color grade without actually needing to solve an answer. That meant no AirPods at the gym, no music, no podcast, no sermons, nothing. Just the gym with no music. Next up, I didn't watch anything on Netflix or Amazon or whatever streaming service, didn't watch any movies, didn't go to any movies. I did read. Reading may be a form of content, it may have been 100 years ago, a whole thing about not reading, I don't know. But I did read. For me, that also meant no news updates. So I might hear some news, I might see it on the TV at the gym, might hear about it from somebody else, that's okay. But I'm not going to scroll on the news feed and get my news and consume news. That may be a bit too far for some people, but I wanted to try it. So I had no form of consuming. Had no music in the car, no podcast in the car, just silence in the car. And the last thing was just no scrolling on the internet. So I'm a big fan of movie news, big fan of what trailers have come out, big fan of the box office, what's happening and what movies are doing well. And for me, that meant cutting that out completely. That was the challenge. It may seem a bit radical. If you're trying it on your own, you may try something else, but that's what I meant by no consuming. This is what it looked like. The first week of doing it, the first few days of doing it, I've done radical things like that in the past. I've gone maybe without music in the gym, I've gone without music in the car, I've gone without being on YouTube, I've deleted social media before. So I've tried various things, but altogether, for the first week, it felt a little weird and it felt very freeing. I think a lot of the people who've tried this before, the greatest feelings of freedom come the first 2 or 3 days, and also the greatest feelings of, I can't live without this. And so you get both of those to the max. You get the feeling of, man, it's so weird running on the treadmill and just nothing, just heavy breathing and sounds of other people around you. It's weird to have just nothing to do. You're just bored. It's weird to not do something in the evening and just go watch a movie. It's weird not knowing what's happening with the news and hearing that somebody died or something happened from somebody else. So it's both weird, but also it's really freeing. And this is the things you probably hear from other people about, oh, it's amazing and it's great. You have all this time to think and you get really creative. And yeah, I think that feeling is most pronounced during week one. So that was week one. Week two is where it got a little bit more interesting. Week two is where I think there's more time to just meditate and think. Your brain's not thinking about, oh, I don't have music, or, oh, I'm not staying up to date on this, or I haven't watched a movie or whatever. It's probably the most just meh week. It's freeing, it's great, you're kind of used to it, you've kind of committed to it, you're not thinking about when you're going to get back or when you're going to see this next or when you're going to see what's happening. And so week two, it gets more pronounced. For me, a couple things that happened week two was just enjoying the silence in the car. Instead of just sitting there thinking it's awkward to be in the car or not consuming something, just started to enjoy it, prayed a little bit, thought a little bit, can't say I had any great ideas, but just tried it. At the gym, just kind of average, started noticing more things, started looking more at the TV, started just seeing people around me and just maybe a little bit more observant. Not the most observant person in the world, but just started to observe different stuff. Can't say it was a radical change. That was just what week two was like. I think one of the biggest changes was just not being on YouTube and not finding something to watch. And I wouldn't say addicted to it. Probably didn't have more than an hour of watch time for the month prior to that, but just didn't get on it. Didn't have to know the latest movie reviews. And I can't say I really missed it. Week 2, maybe I wanted to see a trailer or I saw that something had come out, but it's just kind of a feeling of just that. I can't really describe it. I can't say I was missing it. Can't say I was enjoying life incredibly. It was just kind of a little bit more of the detox effect when you're just enjoying life and you're just doing things and you've kind of committed to it. And so that was week 2. It's a little hard to describe, but just was. Week 3 is where it got a little bit interesting. Week 3, I think, is when I noticed how much I missed music. So at work, I would be working in our open atrium and somebody would be playing music and I just enjoyed it. When you hear music, you just enjoy it. And of course, I wasn't going to choose anything or it's not super loud to pronounce. But I just realized, man, I do miss music. I enjoy music. I also noticed that there was a little bit of a creative rut. I think people talk about all the great things that happen when you cut out content and cut out consuming. And yeah, I do believe there's a lot of benefits. But as a creative person, I realized I was in a little bit of a creative rut. I didn't have anything I was working towards and inspiring me. I was still writing the same screenplay, still had the same grand vision and idea. But for me, there's this feeling when you're in a movie theater or you're watching a movie and something happens, whether really inspiring, and you're like, that's a good story plot point, I want to replicate that and have that same reaction. Or you see something that's like missed opportunity and you're like, I can do that better. I'm going to rework that and use this idea in this character arc, but I'm going to do this. And it gets you inspired. So whether you're watching something good or watching something meh, you can get inspired. And I don't know if it's like that for anybody else, but for me, that creative rut kind of hit because I wasn't watching anything that was supercharging it. And I wasn't watching anything that my brain was trying to fix and correct. I just wasn't watching anything. And so I'd write, and I do think there's some benefit to just writing without any outside influences. But for me, I felt a little bit in a rut. So that was one interesting negative side effect that I did not expect. Week 3 was also the week where I realized that there are some things I just do not miss. It was great not checking the news. It was great not being on social media. It was great not having to scroll YouTube. Every once in a while there's something that's like, man, I wish I could get on for that reason. And so I'll talk a little bit about the solution to that at the end. But in general, I just realized I've got a lot more time. I got more time to cook. I've got more time to work on my hobbies because for some reason I'm actually working on it and not watching a YouTube video about how to do it or getting inspired or doing something else on YouTube that just is filling up time and I can't say where it's going. I just had a little more time. Got in bed a little bit earlier a few nights. Can't say it was every night, but got in bed a little bit earlier some nights. And I just started soaking up and enjoying life a little bit more. Life was just a little bit fuller. I think some of those moments of boredom and just, I'm just going to go take a walk or going to call up a friend and invite him over for supper. Or I can't really say exactly what I did, but there was just more time. And I didn't feel quite as busy. Now, of course, I did cut out a couple other things, and I can't say it was all for that one reason of cutting out watching content, but there's just something about life and not watching someone else's life or not trying to find inspiration, but just actually living life and journaling about it and thinking about it and dreaming about it. And I can't say it made me more productive, but there was just something about being able to think and not having all your thoughts put in your head for you. Can't really describe it well or better than that. I can't articulate it better than that right now. Haven't thought about it. But that was week 3. Week 4 was more of just settling into that kind of feeling of I'm used to it. It's good. There was something about having such a strict standard of like, okay, I can't get on YouTube at all except for work. Or I can't do this, can't do that. And I was like, okay, there's a reason to not be that strict, but I'm going to continue it for this last week. But I definitely was looking forward to being able to check on this news or hear this one thing that I wanted to hear about. And that made me think through how by making those 3% of things that we deal with, whether news updates or some fun piece of news or just anything, we make those 3% of things incredibly important. And that's great. But by making those 3% of things incredibly important and by making sure we hear about those 3% of things, we've elevated 97% of everything else as equally important. So when you get a notification, it's no longer the most important thing that you want to hear about. It's everything that has ever happened in the film industry, and you know about it. And by making everything important, nothing is important. By making every song the best song on the playlist, no song is the best song on the playlist. By making every movie a must-watch movie or every YouTube video the most pressing video and the greatest video ever, all of a sudden they all just kind of become meh. And so breaking back into the content world and consuming stuff, of course I didn't have that desire to just watch everything, and I was no longer in that rut, kind of broken that dopamine part. But it was great to just enjoy stuff again. I really enjoyed music, and I realized that when you have it all the time, you don't enjoy it as much as when you have it just a little bit. And when you watch one really good movie or one really mad movie and it gets your creative energies going and you're excited, things are just, you enjoy it a whole lot more. And so it kind of made me realize, and I can't articulate this as well as I wish I could, but it made me realize that by enjoying the small things and enjoying them really, really well, it makes life that much better. And when you try and enjoy everything all at once, you end up enjoying nothing. And so my experiment of not consuming any content for an entire month taught me that content is worth consuming, just not all the time. And so I appreciate music a whole lot more. I appreciate just a really good song and enjoying that one good song and appreciating it for what it is, and maybe finding a few songs similar to it, but also knowing that when you compare it with silence, it makes that song so much better. When you compare that song with every other song in the world, that one's just another song. Maybe enjoy movies a little bit more. Now when I go to the movie theater, I just enjoy watching that movie. It's not like I'm trying to keep up with everything. I'm not trying to keep up with the latest movie or everything that's happening. I'm just going to keep up with that one thing, and I'm going to get the most out of it. Because the lie is you can't actually keep up with everything. You can try to. You can keep up with as much as you can of one industry or one area or one group of people or one organization, but it is literally impossible to keep up with everything happening in the entire world. And so why would you try and keep up with 20% of it when you could just keep up with 2% of it and enjoy it a whole lot more? You can't enjoy everything all at once. You can only enjoy a few things at a time. I could have every camera in the world that's the greatest camera, all these super expensive lenses, but you can only put one lens on one camera at a time. You can only write one thing at a time. You can only read one book at a time. There's this great proverb from somewhere, I can't remember where I read it, but it was something along the lines of, just because you have 2 feet doesn't mean you should climb 2 trees at once. I'm not saying you're trying to do it, I'm not saying I'm trying to do it, but I think we should just enjoy what we're given and enjoy the thing in front of us a whole lot more. And so by not consuming content all the time, then you enjoy the piece of content you actually are consuming, whether it's a story or a TikTok reel or whatever. You're just going to enjoy that thing a little bit more. And so that was my experiment. Can't say it was a success or a failure. It just was something I learned. And I'd been able to see seeds and parts of it and tried different parts of this experiment by putting it all together. It just helped me realize that I do enjoy watching movies, and I do enjoy listening to music, and I do enjoy staying up to date on the news, and I do enjoy learning on YouTube and seeing the latest trailers, and I do enjoy life. There's no reason to detach completely from it. But the less of it you have, the more you enjoy it.